All right, so you're prepping for a project manager interview.
Smart move.
Yeah, this field is really taking off these days. We've got a whole bunch of RoleCatcher resources to help you totally ace it.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
they've got career guides and interview guides,
Hmm.
and even some really cool AI features that we'll get into a bit later. This deep dive is all about giving you that extra edge,
Yeah.
not just answering questions like a robot.
Yeah. Right.
But really understanding like what those interviewers are actually looking for.
That's so important.
Right.
It's not just about like reciting facts and figures. It's about showing you get the whole picture. Like you really understand what being a project manager is all about and
Exactly.
how your skills and experience actually fit into that.
I love it. Okay, so let's start with the basics. Let's dive into the RoleCatcher Career Guide.
Yeah.
What does it say about what project managers actually do on a day-to-day basis?
Well, it really emphasizes that it's way more than just like keeping projects on track, you know?
Hmm.
It's about leadership, strategic thinking, communication, problem solving.
Oh, wow.
You're basically like the conductor of an orchestra.
I love that analogy.
Yeah, bringing together all these different people and resources to hit that common goal.
Okay, so it's a pretty multifaceted role. I can see how all those skills would come into play.
Yeah.
The guide also mentions the pros and cons of going down this career path, right?
Yeah, it highlights some really great perks.
Yeah.
Like high responsibility, the potential to earn a great salary, and of course the satisfaction of seeing those projects actually come to life.
So rewarding.
Yeah, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Right.
It acknowledges the long hours, the constant pressure to deliver, and the need to be super comfortable juggling like a million things at once.
So it's not for the faint of heart.
Definitely not.
But for those who are up for the challenge and really thrive on making things happen,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like it can be incredibly rewarding.
For sure.
Now, let's say you're fresh out of school.
Okay.
How do you even get your foot in the door in this field?
The RoleCatcher Guide suggests a few things,
Okay.
like internships,
Mhm.
volunteering for projects,
Yeah.
even leading that school club you're passionate about.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's all about getting those practical skills
Yeah.
and showing you, take initiative.
I love that. It's not just about talking the talk, but actually walking the walk.
Exactly,
Yeah.
showing you can apply those project management principles.
Yeah. Now, RoleCatcher also has some really cool AI features
Oh, yeah,
to help you tailor your responses for specific roles.
absolutely.
Tell me more about that.
Imagine having this AI co-pilot
Okay.
that looks at the job description
Mm-hmm.
and helps you highlight the most relevant things from your experience for
Yes.
your resume and even your interview answers.
So it's not just generic advice, it's personalized
Exactly.
to the specific job.
Right.
I love that. Okay, so let's get into the heart of this deep dive,
Okay.
the interview questions.
All right.
RoleCatcher has outlined 10 really common ones,
Mm.
and we're going to break them down one by one
Sounds
to
good.
give you those insider tips to answer them like a total pro.
Awesome.
Ready to jump in?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, question number 1. What experience do you have in leading and managing projects?
Okay.
Now, this one seems pretty straightforward,
Mm-hmm.
but how can you make your answer really stand out? You know,
The key here is to go beyond just listing tasks.
okay,
You've got to use the STAR method.
the STAR method.
Yeah, it stands for Situation, Task, Action, Result.
Okay,
And it helps you tell your story in a way that really highlights what you did and the positive results you achieved.
so instead of just saying, I manage budgets, you'd give a specific example,
Exactly.
like a project where you successfully navigated budget constraints.
Right, and you'd outline the challenges, the actions you took, and the impact it had.
I like it. And I bet you get follow-up questions on this one too, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like what?
They might ask, tell me more about those budget challenges, or
Yeah.
what tools or techniques did you use to keep track of those costs?
Yeah, having those real-life examples ready to go is crucial.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to question number 2. How do you prioritize tasks and manage your time effectively?
Everyone's favorite topic.
Right. Time management.
Yeah, interviewers want to see that you have a system,
Mm.
a method to the madness. They don't just want to hear, I'm a good multitasker.
So think about specific techniques you use, like time blocking or the Eisenhower matrix.
Right.
But again, don't just name drop the method.
Yeah,
Give a real-life example of how you actually applied it to
exactly.
juggle multiple projects and deadlines.
And be ready for follow-ups.
Right.
Can you give me an example of a time you had to reprioritize tasks because something unexpected came up?
Ooh, good one.
Or how do you make sure you have enough time for those urgent requests that always seem to pop up?
You're really highlighting the importance of thinking ahead
Hmm?
and anticipating those follow-up questions.
It shows you're prepared.
Yeah. Now, question 3 gets into risk management. How do you manage project risks and ensure successful outcomes?
This is where you showcase your proactive side.
Okay.
It's not about just reacting to problems after they happen. It's
Yeah.
about spotting those potential risks early on
Hmm.
and having a plan to deal with them.
So walk them through your process,
Right.
from assessing the risks to developing those contingency plans.
And don't forget communicating those risks to stakeholders.
Oh, yeah, that's key.
And adjusting your strategy as needed.
And of course, be ready for those curveball follow-up questions.
Always.
Like, tell me about a time a project went off track and how you handled it. Or what are some common risks you've run into in similar projects?
Those are good ones.
Okay, let's tackle question 4, which gets into the financial side of things. How do you manage project budgets and ensure profitability?
This is all about showcasing your money smarts.
Okay.
Talk about your experience with creating budgets, tracking expenses, forecasting costs, and finding ways to save money.
Give specific examples of how you've kept projects on budget or even brought them in under budget.
Love it.
And don't be afraid to mention any software or tools you've used
Those are always helpful.
to manage finances effectively. And be ready for those insightful follow-ups.
Like,
How do you balance staying within budget with still delivering a high-quality product?
that's a tough one.
Or what steps do you take if a project goes over budget?
It happens.
It does happen. All right, question 5 focuses on communication. How do you communicate project progress to stakeholders?
This is where those soft skills really shine.
Yeah.
Interviewers want to see that you can communicate clearly and effectively with everyone involved, from
Okay.
your team members to the clients to senior management.
So talk about your approach to communication.
Right.
Whether it's regular updates, presentations, or one-on-one meetings.
And highlight your ability to adjust your style depending on who you're talking to.
Exactly. And be ready for those follow-ups like, how do you make sure everyone's in the loop? Or tell me about a time you had to deliver bad news about a project. How did you handle it?
Ugh. Yeah, those are tough.
Conflict is inevitable in any project.
It's gonna happen.
So question 6 tackles this head-on. How do you handle conflicts within a project team?
This one's all about showing off those conflict resolution skills.
Yeah, interviewers want to see that you can handle disagreements professionally
Right.
and effectively without letting them derail the whole project.
It's a balancing act for sure.
So talk about your approach to conflict resolution.
Okay.
Do you like to facilitate open discussions, mediate between team members, emphasize finding solutions where everyone wins?
Exactly. Share a quick story about a conflict you successfully navigated.
I love that. And the follow-up questions.
They might ask about common sources of conflict.
Okay.
Or how you prevent those conflicts from escalating.
Question 7 is all about quality. How do you ensure that project deliverables meet quality standards?
This is your chance to show your dedication to delivering top-notch work. Talk about your experience with quality control processes, testing protocols, making sure those deliverables meet the client's expectations, and then some.
Share an example of a time you went above and beyond to make sure the quality was there.
And be prepared to answer follow-ups.
Like,
What metrics do you use to actually measure the quality of the work? Or how do you handle it when something doesn't meet those standards?
question 8 focuses on scope management. How do you manage project scope and ensure that project goals are achieved?
This is all about keeping things on track.
Right, and preventing scope creep.
Exactly. Talk about your experience with defining the scope, setting clear boundaries, and managing those inevitable change requests.
Share an example of a time you successfully managed scope on a tricky project,
Then get ready for those follow-ups.
such as,
What are your strategies for preventing scope creep? Or how do you handle it when people want to change the scope?
question 9 tackles dependencies. How do you manage project dependencies and ensure that all tasks are completed on time?
This one's about planning and juggling lots of moving parts.
I can see that.
Talk about your experience with identifying dependencies, creating realistic schedules, and keeping an eye on progress.
Highlight how you use project management tools and techniques
Right.
to manage those dependencies and stay on schedule.
And be ready to discuss specific strategies you've used when things inevitably get delayed.
Right, because that happens.
Yeah, they might ask, what tools do you use to visualize those dependencies? Or how do you communicate those delays to everyone involved?
Okay, last but not least, question 10 focuses on your technical skills. What project management software have you used in the past?
This is where you show off your tech toolkit.
List the programs you've used
Mm.
and give a quick overview of your experience with each.
If you've used a bunch of different software, focus on the ones that are most relevant to this specific job.
Right, and how can RoleCatcher's AI help with that?
RoleCatcher can actually analyze the job description and figure out which software skills are most important for that role. And then it can help you craft a response that really highlights your experience with those specific tools.
That's incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
It takes the guesswork out of tailoring your answers. And you know what? This seems like a great place to pause for now.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground just in these first 10 questions.
We have. And in part 2, we'll dive into even more insightful interview questions and reveal those insider tips that will help you land your dream job.
Can't wait. See you there.
See you there. Welcome back to our deep dive on acing those project manager interviews.
All right, we just tackled the first 10 questions.
Yeah, and trust me, there are plenty more where those came from.
I bet, but don't worry, we're going to help you navigate them with confidence.
That's right.
Okay, so let's jump into question 11. Tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult stakeholder.
Oh, this is a classic.
Go ahead.
Stakeholder management is such a huge part of the job.
Right. It's one thing to manage tasks and timelines, but dealing with people, especially the tough ones, that's a whole other challenge.
For sure, this question is all about seeing how you communicate, how you listen and empathize, and how you find solutions that actually work for everyone.
So how should you approach this one?
Walk them through a specific situation.
Okay.
Describe the stakeholder, the challenge you faced, how you tackled it, and the outcome. Focus on the positive stuff,
Right.
and how your actions actually benefited the project.
Makes sense. What about those follow-up questions?
Be ready for things like, what did you learn from that experience? Or how would you do things differently next time?
Those are good.
Yeah, they really want to see that you're self-aware and willing to learn and grow from those tricky situations.
Great advice. Okay, moving on to question 12. Describe a time you had to make a difficult decision on a project.
This one's all about your decision-making skills,
Okay,
how you weigh your options, and your willingness to take ownership.
so basically how you handle pressure.
Exactly. Share a situation where you faced a tough choice. Explain the factors you considered, the risks, the benefits, and why you ultimately made that decision.
It's important to be honest here, right?
Oh, definitely.
Even if things didn't go perfectly, owning up to it and showing you had a clear thought process is key.
Absolutely.
What about follow-up questions on this one?
They might ask about the consequences of your decision,
Okay.
or if you do things the same way, knowing what you know now.
So looking back.
Exactly. It's about showing you can analyze and reflect on your decisions.
All right, let's tackle a question that often throws people off. Describe your leadership style.
Leadership. It's such a big topic.
Oh, right.
But in the context of project management, it's all about inspiring your team, motivating them to hit those goals.
And there are so many different styles.
Right. So don't just label yourself.
Okay.
Instead of saying, I'm a delegator or I'm a collaborator, give specific examples of how you've actually led teams in the past.
Show, don't tell.
Exactly. What are your strengths as a leader? How do you motivate others? How do you create a positive team environment?
I bet RoleCatcher's AI could be helpful here too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
How so?
RoleCatcher's AI can look at your work history and see patterns in how you've led in the past. It can help you figure out your unique leadership style.
So cool. Technology is amazing.
I know, right?
Okay, back to the questions. Question 14. Tell me about a time you had to go above and beyond to meet a deadline.
This is your time to shine. Show them your dedication, your problem-solving skills, and how you handle pressure.
Don't just say you work hard, though.
Right, everyone says that.
Yeah.
Paint a picture. Describe the situation, the obstacles, the actions you took, and how you pulled it off.
It's about showing that you're committed to delivering results even when things get tough.
Exactly.
Okay, what kind of follow-up questions could come up here?
They might ask about your time management strategies or how you prioritize tasks when deadlines are looming.
Be ready to talk specifics.
Yeah, about the techniques and systems you use.
Okay, question 15. How do you stay up to date on the latest trends in project management?
This is where you show your passion.
Yeah.
That you're committed to always learning and growing.
Because the field is constantly evolving, right?
Right. Talk about the resources you use, industry publications, conferences, online communities, courses. Be specific. Mention a recent article you read or a new methodology you're learning about.
Show them you're not just keeping up, but actively seeking ways to improve.
Exactly.
Any tips for handling follow-up questions on this one?
They might ask how you've applied those new trends or methodologies to your projects,
Okay.
or about the biggest challenges facing project managers today.
Be prepared to share examples and insights.
That's right.
Okay, let's move on to question 16. Tell me about a time you had to adapt to a change in project scope.
Change. It's a constant in project management.
It really is.
This question is about how flexible you are, how you solve problems, and how you adjust your approach when things shift.
Adaptability and resilience.
Exactly. Share a time when the project scope changed. Explain how you figured out the impact, communicated it to everyone, and adjusted your plan.
It's about staying calm under pressure, thinking strategically, and finding solutions to keep the project moving forward.
Even when things don't go as planned.
For sure.
Huh.
What kind of follow-ups should we expect here?
They might ask about your strategies for managing change requests,
Okay.
or how you make sure those scope changes are documented and communicated properly.
All right, question 17 dives into your people skills. Describe a time you had to motivate a team member who was struggling.
This one's all about how you interact with your team and how you inspire and support them.
Creating that positive work environment.
Exactly. Share a time when you saw a team member struggling. How did you approach them? What support did you offer? What steps did you take to help them get back on track?
It's not about being critical.
Right.
It's about understanding what's going on and giving them the guidance and encouragement they need to succeed.
For sure. For follow-ups, they might ask about your general approach to motivating team members. What techniques do you use? How do you foster that supportive environment?
All right, let's talk about a question that lets you really showcase your potion. Tell me about a project you're particularly proud of and why.
This is your chance to brag a little.
Yeah.
Don't just list projects. Pick one that really means something to you and tell the story.
What were the challenges, the successes, the lessons learned? What made this project stand out?
Exactly. Convey your enthusiasm and the impact you had.
I love it.
Yeah.
What kind of follow-up questions can we expect?
They might ask about your biggest challenge on that project or what you're most proud of accomplishing.
It's your time to go deep and show off your skills.
Yeah.
Okay, we're almost there. Question 19 is a classic. What are your strengths and weaknesses as a project manager? The weakness part can be tricky. Any advice?
Definitely. For strengths, be specific and tie them to the job you're interviewing for.
Okay.
Back up your claims with examples. For weaknesses, pick an area where you're actively working to improve.
So it's not about admitting huge flaws.
Right.
It's about showing yourself aware and committed to growing.
Exactly. Explain what you're doing to develop that skill or overcome that challenge. It shows you're proactive.
I bet RoleCatcher could help here too.
Oh, for sure.
How?
RoleCatcher can look at your work history and point out potential areas for improvement based on the specific job requirements. It can even suggest resources and training programs to help you address those areas.
Wow, it's just like having a personal career coach.
Right in your pocket.
Okay, last but not least, question 20. Do you have any questions for me?
Now's your chance to flip the script.
Yeah.
Show them you're genuinely interested in the role and the company.
It's also a chance to learn more and make sure it's the right fit for you.
Definitely. Have a few thoughtful questions ready to go.
Like what?
Think about company culture, team dynamics, the challenges of the role, or opportunities for growth. Asking questions shows you're engaged and want to learn more.
Great advice. All right, we've covered 20 interview questions, and hopefully you're feeling much more prepared to tackle them.
Remember, it's not about memorizing answers. It's about understanding what they're looking for and showing how you fit the bill.
And don't forget about RoleCatcher's AI.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, their tools can help you tailor your resume, analyze your practice interviews, and even map out your career path.
It's an amazing resource for anyone looking to ace that project manager interview.
All right, so we've covered a ton of potential questions you might get in a project manager interview.
Yeah, hopefully feeling a lot more prepared now.
But landing the job is just the first step, right? There's a whole world of project management out there.
Right. It's massive.
And you can really specialize your career.
It's like choosing your character class in a video game.
I love that analogy.
And RoleCatcher, while it doesn't have a specific list, does give us some hints about where the industry is going.
Okay, cool.
For example, agile project management is booming right now.
Oh yeah, I hear that term everywhere.
It's all about flexibility and reacting to change quickly.
So working in sprints and scrums.
Exactly. You find this a lot in software development, tech startups, places where speed is key.
Makes sense.
No.
But what about industries outside of tech?
Well, construction project management is always in demand,
I can see.
especially with all the infrastructure projects going on and the focus on sustainable building.
Yeah, those are huge projects.
Massive, complex logistics. Tons of moving parts.
So if you love being on-site coordinating teams and seeing those tangible results,
Mm-hmm.
construction could be a good fit.
Definitely. Another growing area is healthcare project management.
Oh, wow. With all the changes happening in healthcare, that makes sense.
Yeah, advancements in technology and aging population and just the sheer complexity of healthcare systems.
Yeah.
You could be working on anything from electronic health records to patient flow to telehealth initiatives.
So you need project management skills, plus knowledge of healthcare regulations and how to handle sensitive data.
Exactly. It's a high impact field for sure.
What are you good with numbers?
Financial project management is a great option for those with a finance or accounting background.
Okay.
You'd be managing budgets, analyzing financial data, making sure projects are delivered on budget.
So banks, investment firms, large corporations.
Right, places with complex finances.
And of course, we can't forget about tech.
IT project management is still huge.
Yeah, businesses rely on technology for everything these days.
Exactly. You could specialize in software development, cybersecurity, cloud computing. There's so much variety.
Data is becoming more and more important everywhere, too.
Definitely, data project management is a critical and emerging area.
I can see that.
Companies need experts to manage those data-heavy projects, make sure the data is high quality, and extract valuable insights.
So if you love data analysis, problem solving, and turning data into strategies, that's a path to consider.
Absolutely. The main takeaway here is to do your research.
Yeah.
Think about what you enjoy, what you're good at, and what the job market is looking for.
And don't forget about RoleCatcher's Career Compass tool.
Yeah, it's super helpful.
It can help you explore different career paths, figure out what skills you need, and even suggest courses or certifications.
And never underestimate the power of networking.
Oh, that's so important.
Connect with other project managers in your field. Yeah. Go to industry events, stay up to date on trends and challenges. Building those relationships can really open doors.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive on project manager interview prep.
Yeah, we covered a lot.
From nailing those interview questions to finding your niche in the project management world.
Remember, this is just the beginning of your journey.
Yeah.
Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
And we'll be here to support you along the way. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.